this is one of the powerful quotes most of our Eastern brothers don't want to hear or don't want to see. So when you look at it, you say, I call on all the nationalists to shun the racial arrogance of the British administrators, to rescue Nigeria from geographical expression to historical reality as one Nigeria, one people. Zik speaking at the Ime Obi Onitsha in 1976, one Nigeria, one people. This particular word made a lot of these people not to regard the Zik even to today. This one Nigeria, one people. Iyo Ita Premier 1951, he was the first premier in Eastern region, succeeded by Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nka Western region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, succeeded by Samuel Akintola. Northern region, Sir Ahmedu Bello, premier, succeeded by who? Kishima Ibrahim. So Abieba now, after Nnamdi Azikiwe, you come to M.I. Okpara. He was also a great man. I love this man. M.I. Okpara is a great man. I love him, man. Sir Francis Ibam. That is in Kano Demokwaya. So this was the Eastern Premier before the position was abolished. So this is all about Zik's quotes. I want to read this one for you guys. So my desire, what Zik desire? You know, when you say my desire, so let's read about what Zik actually desired when he was young and all that. So my desire, I do not seek for power over my peers, nor do I wish to soar over them. I ask for equal chance to prove my worth and take my place beside my fellow man. I do not ask to be a wedding man to demonstrate how money can be spent, to advertise the vanity of man. Whilst poverty engulfs the human race, deep in my heart, I have this wish to make. I want to know how man can live in peace and make this earth a living paradise. I want to have enough to fill my needs and bring prosperity to those in need. I want to be kindly friendly to man, to insulate the weak from nascent fear, that they be endowed with freedom from want. That they be endowed with freedom from want. Nnamdi Azikiwe. This is Zugerian Heaven. Zugeri Heaven. Onitsha 27, 1972. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Faithful God. Man must not be a wolf to man. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Man must not be wolf. Man must not be a wolf to man. Nnamdi Azikiwe. So you must not be a wolf to man. So Nnamdi Azikiwe is too much. Nnamdi Azikiwe is a great man. I'm happy that I think right now our people people are waking up to read, to know more about history. This is another section. Ihedeba too much. What is here is too much. So we can't read all of them. This is all about Zik. This is all about Zik. So like I was saying, our people are waking up to history. Our people are waking up to history. So this is the view of this present house, the house we are in. So that is the view, top view. And when you come to this place, you see how it was looking then, before the picture of the Premier Lodge, before the conclusion of the rehabilitation work done by Enugu State government. So how it all started, Zik's Lodge, Zik's old lodge, plan for the Zik's new lodge, and this is how it came out. So Enugu State government, now do this one, now try. So when you come to this one, this is number 34 Close Street, Onitsha, the residence of the great Zik of Africa. He is pictured acknowledging cheers from supporters in 1959. This is one heritage that was well preserved by the Europeans. This photo may not be in our national archive. So this is it here. This is the car he was using then. Zik of Africa. This man is great. This man is great. So, like I was saying, one thing about Zik's legacy is that Zik is the father of Nigeria. Zik did a lot. Zik was, I don't know how to put it, he fought for Nigeria. So he was the one that introduced oneness, one Nigeria. Nigeria have to be one. Nigeria have to be one. We don't have to be divided. He's the one that introduced it, one Nigeria. So, and that is why most of our people, don't really give him the credit he deserves. But in all area, you can't take that particular legacy away from him because he had like he contributed a lot to Nigeria. He contributed a lot. I know Zeke had an opportunity to divide everybody, but no, he didn't do it because he was a nationalism, pan-Africanism. He wanted everybody to be one. He wanted everybody to have an equal right. He didn't know that one day Igbos will be fighting to, go. But anyway, that one is a story for another day. But we are talking about his legacy. He did a lot. That is why when you come to Nigeria, every area, a lot of things. There's no place you go, you don't see anything about Zik. A lot of things was named after him. Nnamdi Azikiwe this, Nnamdi Azikiwe this, Nnamdi Azikiwe that, Nnamdi Azikiwe this. This is massive, man. Because he was a great man. He was a destined child, right from Peking. This is another section. Yes, another section. And guy, let's start from here. So when you come here, all this thing was used by Nnamdi Azikiwe. This is microphone. Just look at how it was. This is wireless. So they say wireless microphone. That was used by Zeke. This is a bag that was used by Zeke. Assassination story, true or false? Nnamdi Azikiwe wrote this thing. This is a bag, all this briefcase used by Nnamdi Azikiwe. So this is all used by Zeke of Africa. So this is a briefcase also. Another briefcase here used by Nnamdi Azikiwe. So when you come to this side, we have to start from this side. This is the first contingent of the National Congress of Nigeria Citizens, led by Zeke, arriving for the resumed Constitutional Conference. Photo shows left. This is all about Zeke of Africa. Zeke addressing London Constitutional Conference in 1953 with him, K.O. Mbadiwe, the one we toured his house recently, Bello Ajimu, Face to Sokotie, Ebo, AO, all this in conference. And Zeke speaking at Nigerian Constitution Conference at Lancaster House, London in May 1957. Zeke of Africa. Zeke speaking at the historical Lancaster House, London during the Nigerian Constitutional Conference in 1958. So this is all about Zeke's conference and all that in Obodo Igbo. Zeke with George James S. Watson, Alan Locke, Mbadiwe, and all those. It's all about Zeke. So when you come to this place, in 1962, Lagos, Nigeria parliamentary democracy has another chance in Nigeria, which gained independence from Britain. 10-1, 1960, the country is divided into 3 distinct regions. That is when you have Eastern, Western, and Northern. So that was when Zeke became the premier of Eastern Nigeria in 1954 to 1959. So this is all about Zeke of Africa. When you come here, you will see more about Zeke and all that. So just show them the picture. I can't read all of them. But one thing I want to tell you guys is that Zeke started writing book even when he was a student in America. Zeke wrote a lot of books, published a lot of articles. So to show you that Zeke was destined to be great even when he was small. And he knew it. I think he knew that he was great even right from birth. Because everything about him has always been great. Because he started, doing extraordinary things when he was young. It's not like children of these days that you see the person even getting to 40 years, the person have not even discovered his talent or know his left and right. Like some children of these days, I'm talking about some, not everybody do. But Zeke started doing extraordinary things at the age of 20. He was even a student teacher before he even, he was brilliant. When he started schooling, because he was born in northern Nigeria, and he speaks Hausa very well. And his father was afraid that, no, his son can speak Hausa like this, but he can't speak Igbo. That is when he decided to send Zeke back to Onitsha to stay with his grandmother and his auntie. So that was when Zeke traveled back to East and stayed with his auntie and started school in East here. And that was when Zeke learned how to speak Igbo fluently. So Zeke staying in Onitsha made him to speak Igbo very well, and mingled with a lot of people and made a lot of friends. And Zeke's father, do you know that Zeke's father was a government worker under the Britain? He was a government worker. So I think Zeke's father, Zeke was not also, he was not from a poor family that he was not from poor background, because he was afraid that he can speak outside, he can't speak Igbo. His father became worried, so he had to send him to the village to stay with his grandmother and auntie so that he can learn how to speak Igbo and Igbo culture. That was when Nnamdi Azikiwe came to Onitsha and learned Igbo culture and learned how to speak Igbo. He schooled there and made a lot of friends. But there's one funny thing that happened in that Onitsha. There's one thing that happened. So I'm just telling you guys. So something happened because Nnamdi Azikiwe was beaten by a dog. So this prompted his worried father to send him to Lagos that he may heal and continue school in the city. So Nnamdi Azikiwe nkita tara Nnamdi Azikiwe nkita tara tachapụ ya ọkpa before his father became afraid, because his father was working in Lagos that time. First of all, his father was working in Niger State, later transferred to Lagos. So his father became worried. That's why he brought him back to Lagos to stay with him and also continue his education. So that was how it is. So Nnamdi Azikiwe is a great man. He was the first president of Nigeria. He was the first president of Nigeria, 1st October 1963 to 16 January 1966. Prime Minister at that time was Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Senate President that time under him was Nwafọ Orizu. I don't know whether you know about this. I was also surprised. Nwafọ Orizu was his Senate President that time. Preceded by position abolished. That time they abolished the position. That position they abolished that time was the Governor General, not the because when we got independent, that was when he became the president. But he was the Governor General under the rulership of the Britain. So that was what they mean by position abolished. That time it was Elizabeth, Queen of Nigeria, Queen of England. That was the one ruling Nigeria at that time. So succeeded by Agui Ironsi Johnson Agui, the military head of state. After that, the first president of Senate of Nigeria in office, Nnamdi Azikiwe was the first president of the Senate of Nigeria in office 1st January 1960 to 1st October 1960. So this was just how many months? Preceded by position abolished, succeeded by Dennis Osadebeya. Premier of Eastern Nigeria in office 1st October 1954 to 1st October 1959. Succeeded by Michael Okpara. So Nnamdi Azikiwe was the second president of NCNC, president of National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroon, in office 1946 to 1960, preceded by Habib Makule, succeeded by Michael Okpara. So Chancellor of University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and all that. Nnamdi Azikiwe was a great man. So his story is something you cannot just get up and tell. So this thing we are just doing, we came to Enugu and we just have to start from Zik. We have to start from scratch. We can't just get up and jump. There's a lot of things to show you guys in Enugu, but we are starting, one after the other. So you'll be amazed because we'll have a lot of things to show you guys in Enugu, which the things is not something we can rush. So just use your eyes to read, because I can't read all of them for you. Use your eyes to read. You can read. If I fast read, I just be going slow camera so that I can be reading. You understand? Because my fans, they love to see. They love to see things. And as they are seeing it, if they are not reading it, after they will say, change your cameraman, change your cameraman. Every second, they think, are you going to pay the cameraman? If they change cameraman, are you going to pay? So be going slow so that they can be reading it. So who is this? Zik inspects a guard of honor as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So Zik with Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. This is massive, man. Zik and wife, after being sworn in as the first president of Nigeria, Federal Republic of Nigeria, on October 1st, 1963. Okay. 1963. Premiers and governors between 1960 to 1966 in Eastern region. Okay, Eastern region, Prof. Eyo Ita, Premier 1951. He was the first premier in Eastern region, succeeded by Nnamdi Azikiwe. Nka Western region, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, succeeded by Samuel Akintola. Nka Northern region, Sir Ahmedu Bello, Premier, succeeded by who? Keshima Ibrahim. So Abieba now, after Nnamdi Azikiwe, you come to M.I. Okpara. He was also a great man. I love this man. M.I. Okpara is a great man. I love him, man. Sir Francis Ibam. That is in Kano Bemokwaya. So this was the Eastern Premier before the position was abolished. This is Sikh with Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. They all fought for the independence of Nigeria. So when you come to this side, you will see a lot of things here. So the list of the candidates for the Nigeria presidential election in 1979. This is massive, man. So this was the list of the candidates for the Nigeria presidential election in 1979. Presidential candidates, they are running mates of Nigeria parties. Presidential candidates, running mates. Nkav Alhaji Shehu Shagari from Sokoto State. Okay, his running mate was Alex Ekweme from Anambra State. So Nka Chief Obafemi Awolowo from Ogun State. Chief Philip Umedi from Anambra State was his running mate. Nnamdi Azikiwe. So why did they use the picture twice? These guys look like Nnamdi Azikiwe. And look at him here again. But anyway, so MNPP Chief Nnamdi Azikiwe from Anambra State. So his vice was Dr. Issa Abubakar Audu from Kaduna. Nkab Alhaji Waziri Ibrahim from Bono. His vice was Dr. Actor Nzeribe from Imo State. Alhaji Aminu Kano from Kano State was the contestant, and his vice was Mr. Samuel Ikuku from Imo State. Did you notice one thing here? All of them was having their counterpart, their vice, their running mate was Igbo. Their running mate, all of them, their running mate was Igbo. So, but in this current situation of Nigeria, it's not like that again. You know, when you look at this, the list of the candidates for the Nigeria presidential election in 1979, so these were the great people, the intellectual, the honest men that time. At least they were honest to Nigerians. They were honest to us. Because when you look at it, all of their running mates was Igbo. All of their running mates was Igbo. But it's no more like that now. So look at, we are in a present situation of Nigeria where Muslim tickets is rolling us. And we are quiet like it's nothing. During the olden days, this is 1979 candidates for the Nigerian presidential election, and all of their running mate was Igbo. Of the candidates for the Nigerian presidential election in 1974, which people later won the election? Who knows? Please, if you know, type it in the comment section. Which group later won the election? You can see here Zik contested for the election for presidency, and his counterpart, his vice that time, was Dr. Issa Abubakar Audu from Kaduna. So this was all Zik's book. So all this book was written by Zik of Africa about NPP, the choice we offer. So a lot of them, and if it was not written by him, it was read by him. He used those books. So this is all about Zik. So when you come here, Zik campaigning with his running mate Shetima Mustafa prior to 1983 election. Zik of Africa. Zik is a promoter of One Nigeria. Zik is a great man, and we ought to promote and show our own. So this is massive, man. This is massive. So all these things you are looking at like this is 6 quotes. This is all his quotes, his honest quotes when he was alive. So when you read this thing, it's like Zik speaking to you. I have to learn from it. So I will have to read few of them to you guys. So this is Nigeria government persists in its refusal to grant its women the franchise. Then it has no right to use them to sway its population and gain advantage over more liberal parts of the Federation of Nigeria. That government cannot eat cake and have it. Zik, in his booklet, A Matter of Conscience, in a chapter titled Woman Suffrage. This is massive, man. So when you come down here, you see death is the common fate for all. The kings of the earth may rule and govern, but in the end, they share the common fate. The angels of death praise neither aristocrat nor the commoners. The angels of death space neither aristocrat or nor the commoner, neither the black or white. The rich and the poor must meet on a common basis, which death comes. When death comes, it is the doom of the humanity that all animate things must eventually become inanimate, so that the cycle of existence may continue in its mysterious march. I want to repeat this thing again because this quote is deep. Death is the common fate for all. The kings of the earth may rule and govern, but in the end, they share the common fate. The angels of death space neither aristocrat nor the commoner, neither the black or white. The rich and the poor must meet on a common basis, which death when death comes. It is the doom of the humanity that all animate things must eventually become inanimate, so that the cycle of existence may continue in its mysterious march. Zik in his book Resonate Africa in chapter 17, titled If We Must Die. This is all about Zik. By grace of God, known to us as Chukwu Osebulowa, we shall repent and retrace our misguided steps to seek refuge under the umbrella of harmony and concord, envisaged by our ancestors who had hoped to settle amicably on this side of the Niger more than 300 years ago. Zik in his book. The role of the military in a state is to preserve the territorial integrity of the state. But what we have now in many parts of Africa is the military not only seeking to preserve the territorial integrity, but to rule the state as well. Zeke speaking in his magazine. We are confident that only by the civilization of democracy in all aspects of our national life and thought, political, economic, and social, can we develop pari passu with the other progressive nation of the peace-loving world. We are determined that Nigeria should now evolve into a fully democratic and socialist commonwealth in order to enable our various nationalists and communities to own and control the essential means of production and distribution, and thereby more effectively promote political freedom, economic security, social equality, religious toleration, and communal welfare. Communal welfare. Zik address delivered at the second annual conference of the Congress of Purpose Against Imperialism and Colonialism and Wars. If you place everything in the hands of the state, it is a faceless entity which has nothing to do with God. However, we must allow the churches and the mosques to inculcate discipline in our children so that we will be able to live in harmony. So I feel it was a mistake for the state to take over the schools. So most of us are products of these voluntary and missionary schools. We were taught the fear of God. All the indiscipline we see these days, the stealing and all, I really believe is because we no longer lay premium on religious education. Zik speaking in Kaduna during his 1948 tour of the North. Zik speaking. The realization of a new Africa can be made possible by the Africans cultivating spiritual balance, which leads to the practicalizing of social regulation to realizing economic determinism, being mentally emancipated, and ushering in political resurgence. Zik speaking on 5 principles for African liberation from his book Libra in War Politics, Resonate Africa, 1934. I cannot resign my premiership under pressure because of attempt by Chief E.O. Eyo and his renegades threaten me with the ACB affairs, and so and so inquiry. I've made myself ready for any inquiry because I have nothing to hide. Since my business with ACB was all of good intention, but I want to remind the cohort and Mr. Lennox Boyd, the colonial secretary, of supporting the British banking interests in order to destroy the ACB. I have therefore decided not to resign, as to do so now would amount to an abdication of power, seeking microscopic minority. Zik wrote this in his last testament before he fled Lagos in July 1945. I thought there was no use bearing a name from a country which denied me the right even to compete in a sport festival designed to knit closer its unit. In the spirit of sportsmanship, Zik on why he dropped his English name after being disqualified from representing Nigeria at the 1934 British Empire. So Zik was disqualified from the British sports team. The lack of respect for human dignity has led to the political bondage of man by man in Africa. This is exactly what is happening now. The lack of respect for human dignity has led to the political bondage of man by man in Africa. Nnamdi Azikiwe said it. Nnamdi Azikiwe said it. So the quote is too much. And that is what is happening in Africa today. We must search our hearts and be prepared to accept some home truth. Someone has rightly said that peace is indivisible. One half of the world cannot enjoy peace while the other half lives in the throne of war. It cannot be possible. This is one of the powerful quotes most of our Eastern brothers don't want to hear or don't want to see. So when you look at it, you say, I call on all the nationalists to shun the racial arrogance of the British administrators, to rescue Nigeria from geographical expression to historical reality as one Nigeria, one people. Zik speaking at the Ime Obi Onitsha in 1976, one Nigeria, one people. This particular word made a lot of people not to regard the Zik even to today. This one Nigeria, one people.